Zacharias all of a sudden became mute. The angel said, you doubted me, now you're mute. Can I just tell you, that seems so unfair. So unfair, right? Let me just put it in reference for a little bit. Sarah didn't have that happen to her. Sarah laughed when she heard that the angel said that they were going to have a baby. She laughed, and the angel wasn't happy. The angel of the Lord wasn't happy about it, but didn't cause her to be mute, okay? Now, we have another situation here where all of a sudden now Zacharias is mute, but then how about Mary? Mary gets a visitation by an angel, and she doubted him. She's like, how could this be? Like, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, and the angel didn't mute her, right? So why does this have to happen to Zacharias? Is it a male-female thing? I don't know. I'm not going to go there with that, all right? Is it because he was a priest? I don't know. Not going to go there with that either. I think arguments can be made for a lot of different things as far as why goes. But nonetheless, he was made mute and could not talk. All right? Now, his tongue was eventually released, but the point is this: that wasn't fair. When you even look, and this is a priest, he knows God's word. How is this fair to him? Right? This is a pretty big deal. It sounds like a fair question. So again, we have to throw out the word unfair because there are so many unfair things that happen. And if you start comparing, well, this person didn't have that, but I did, right? Or why did this person get this and not me? David did that. But you don't see this happening to David. David said, why do the wicked prosper? Why do the wicked prosper? Why is this happening to them? Why am I dealing with this, and that? Again, we're going to talk a little bit about that next week, in the beginning of next week, all right? But nonetheless, things that seem unfair, okay? And here we have Zacharias dealing with an unfair situation. Now, let's keep going here because when we look at Zacharias, we're going to take a look now at Luke, chapter 1, verse 59. It says, so it was on the 8th day that they came to circumcise the child. So John the Baptist is being born, or he's born, 8th day of his birth. And they would have called him by the name of his father, Zacharias. His mother answered and said, no, he shall be called John. Verse 61, but they said to her, there is no one among your relatives who is called by this name. So they made signs to his father. Let me stop right there. It was tradition to call the child after the father's name, to keep the namesake. So they wanted to call him Zacharias. But the mother said, no, his name shall be John. So now they're going to the father and say, hey, Pops, what are you saying here? And even though he can't talk, so that's why they're making signs to the father, what would he have his name called? And verse 63, and he asked for a writing tablet, because he still couldn't talk, right? And wrote saying, his name is John. So they all marveled. Immediately his mouth was open and his tongue loosed, and he spoke, praising God. Verse 65. Here's part of a why. Why did this happen? Well, look at what happened, right? All of a sudden it was a confirmation of a name, something that was out of tradition, that was out of whack, something that never happened before in this family history like this, or that we know of anyway. And now all of a sudden, here comes a miracle, a sign and wonder following God's word of the name of John for him, and he repeats it. Confirmation comes into line with God's word, and bam, here comes the opening of his mouth. But here's the thing, it was public. Other people got to see this take place and marveled at it. So verse 65, then fear came on all who dwelt around them, and all these sayings were discussed through all the hill country of Judea. Can you get some better public relations than that, right? You're talking about, there's no news media, but here everyone's talking about, hey, did you hear about John the Baptist? About this kid, something special must be going on with this kid because his father was mute, and the moment they said John, all of a sudden his mouth opened up.